This is huge. Google is making an update to its match types, and in this video, I'm going to explain in detail what that means because I know Google likes to say stuff in Googleese, and it can be hard for, some people to understand, and what you can do about it, my personal opinion about it, and if you should be scared or if you should be happy that Google's actually implementing this change. So let's get right into it. So if you don't know me, my name is Bogle. I make a lot of content on how to run Google ads because that's what I do for clients, and also how to build an SMMA agency if you want to do it for other clients as well. So if you're interested in this type of content, be sure to hit a like on this video and subscribe as well. Really helps me out, pushes it to a new audience, which just benefits everyone and encourages me to make high quality, up-to-date videos just like this one. So in this email here I got from Google 4 hours ago, they're making an update to the phrase match and broad match modified keywords. So pretty much in short, how Google explains it is that with this updated matching behavior, ads may be shown on searches that include same or more specific meaning as your keyword. This can lead to an increase in traffic in any phrase match keywords and a slight decrease in traffic in broad match modified keywords. So this is kind of confusing. When I first read this, I was kind of confused on what they meant by that. So let's go into more detail of what Google specifically said. This is going to be implemented February 18th. They just announced it February 4th, which is the date of this recording. So after February 18th, this is going to be, announced and started and, implemented, but it's not going to be until around July where, it's going to be global and they're going to completely get rid of actually broad match modified. Let's read what Google overall says. At the heart of Google Ads is our ability to connect businesses with people who are looking for what they have to offer, whether it's for takeout restaurants or something that's never been searched up before, which makes up 15% of queries every day. So people expect to find product or services that they are looking for. So over the years, we have improved understanding of intent to make it easier for you to reach your customers. For example, keywords can now match to a meaning of a search. So this means that Google for years has just tried to optimizing what's the intent of people when they search this specific keyword or this specific phrase. It leads the person to the right advertiser and it shows the ad to the right person, so that way it's more relevant to the person and people will use Google. And they're just saying how broad match is more effective, and when paired with smart bidding, that's still a very, very risky strategy overall. But now what Google's going to start rolling out is changes to phrase match and broad match modified. So pretty much, if you don't know what phrase match and broad match modified is, first of all, go on my video. After this video, go to my Google AdWords for 2021 for local businesses where I explain the match types and overall how they work. So what phrase match is, nowadays is words are going to appear in this specific order. So someone has to type in moving services NYC to Boston, but words can appear before or after it and your ad could still pop up. With broad match modified, it's the same exact concepts, but the order of the words don't matter. It could appear, your ad could still appear for service moving Boston to NYC. So what this update overall does is now they're making phrase match a little bit more loose and making broad match modified a little bit more tight. So just a quick recap, when I say tighter or looser when it comes to broad match modified or phrase match, I just mean like what queries are going to, or the amount of keywords that your ad will show up for if someone searches that. So when I say broad match modified is going to get tighter, that means that less search queries that people search are going to activate your broad match modified keyword, so thus your ads aren't going to get shown as much with broad match modified keywords. But for phrase match keywords, that's going to be getting looser, which means that more queries that people search are going to activate phrase match keywords, so your ads are going to show up for that. So I just want to put in that quick clarification for those who may not understand when I say that. So what we can see here is that before, this would appear for phrase match, which, matches the definition, but this wouldn't appear for phrase match. But now in the new update, it is going to appear for phrase match. So you can see that NYC Corporation moving services to Boston, that with the Google algorithm now, that's not going to activate, this phrase match keyword. So your ad used to not be eligible to show for this, but now with the updated phrase match, your ad is eligible to show for this, even though it's just not in the same order. And now they're tightening broad match modified. So beforehand, moving services Boston to NYC, the order doesn't matter. So with the old broad match modified, this was the way it was going to be. But now with the new broad match modified, this wouldn't even appear. So what Google's pretty much doing here is pretty much they're going to look at what you type in for a keyword that you want to bid for, and they're going to be like, okay, what is the real intent behind this? So when they see this, they're like, oh, okay, he wants to show their ads to people that are going from New York City to Boston, but not Boston to New York City. So Google's going to realize that, and your ad's not going to show for like Boston to NY City to New York City, even though with the old definition of broad match modified, it would show. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But they give a lot more examples here, which make more sense. So now with broad match modified, if someone searches resume services, they see the intent behind it. It's like, what are some customer service skills to put on a resume? You probably don't want your ad to show for that, because you probably want to sell, your resume services. You don't want people who are looking, like for a free thing to click on your ad and then cause you to pay for it. Your best sneakers, best prices on sneakers for toddlers, that's not going to show up anymore. It's not as specific, not as converting. Use printers, companies that use daisy wheel printers. So you can see that, broad match modified is going to get a lot more tighter, but phrase match modified is going to get a little bit looser. So holidays in Zambia, now it's holiday spots in Zambia. The old way of phrase match modified, this wouldn't be a no-go, but now it will be, because the intent is still the same. Holidays in Zambia, holiday spots in Zambia, that's still the same intent. Long sleeve dress, long sleeve lace dress, people are still looking to buy a long sleeve dress. Women's boots, new women's boots size 30, new women's size 37 boots. So what's happening to my broad match modifier? We're phasing out support of broad match modifier. So pretty much they're just going to get rid of it completely. So both phrase match and broad match modifier will begin to translate to this new matching behavior. So you don't have to take any immediate action. If you have broad match modified or phrase match, you don't really have to do anything. In July, once this new behavior is rolled out globally, you will no longer be able to use broad match modified keywords. So in July, it's going to be completely taken out. And then this is just Google just saying, look at your Google ads, consider using smart bidding, continue to use negative keywords. They're just saying, best practices overall. So overall, what I think about it is, honestly, I'm looking forward to this, and I like this update. So people like to bash on Google's algorithm when it comes, and they just say they want to take your money. But Google algorithm, if they have the data, it can be really high converting, and it can be, it can really work to your benefit. Because I've used it before on some of my clients' campaigns, and there are days where I was getting conversion after conversion after conversion, simply just because the Google algorithm, actually was able to, with enough data, knew what to do to get the conversion. I think overall this update's fine, because it's going to make, setting up a campaign simpler. So, when you start a campaign, you don't have to think of, doing, phrase match and broad match modified. You can simply just do phrase match keywords now and, get the result that you still want overall. You don't have to, do phrase match and say, oh, I should do broad match modified for a little bit. So overall, yeah, so that's overall this update. So in short, pretty much for right now, Google is making broad match modified a little bit more strict, and it's going to appear for less keywords. They're going to make phrase match modified a little bit more loose and to allow more keywords, but the overall intent should be the same. But of course, still look at the campaign, and broad match modified by the end of July is going to be discarded. I'll have a link to the support article in the description below. But yeah, I hope you guys like that video. If you want to learn how to run Google Ads step by step, if you want to learn the best Google Ads bidding strategy, click on the video up there and you should be able to see it. See you guys in that video.